Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired. You're 50-0. You walked away from the game. You made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now, you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you. It's not that you just deserve the money, because it's hard to do.
Right. I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much.
The man who once called himself the best ever is now in deep trouble. Floyd Mayweather is caught up in a major controversy, facing serious scam allegations and rumors that he's close to going broke.
I did it the hard way. You know, I'm a kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7, I was living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. Just worked hard to get to where I got to in life. It's been hard.
When Floyd went from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, everything changed. He wasn't just known for his slick defense anymore. He turned himself into a walking symbol of wealth. Instead of chasing boxing greatness, his main focus became showing off his fortune and making money the center of his brand.
If you want to look at guys that never got hit, Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times, ever.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather. That was before he became Money Mayweather.
He turned himself into a brand, all about luxury and money. The spotlight moved from his incredible defense in the ring to his flashy lifestyle. He started making millions each fight and climbed his way to becoming one of the richest athletes on the planet.
It's just complete genius. Yes. First of all, from just changing his style, right? He broke his hands a lot. So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd. Yeah. And then he changed his name to Money. And when he changed his name to Money, he turns heel. Yeah. He became like this guy and everybody wanted to see him get beat. Yeah. And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport. Yes, sir. Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting and he says, I'll just start boxing people who have no chance. Hey, why not?
Floyd Mayweather started out making $3 million per fight, but everything changed when he decided to go independent. That bold move sent his earnings through the roof, eventually making him a billionaire and the highest paid athlete in the world. By cutting out promoters and taking control of his own career, he built a financial legacy that few in sports have ever matched.
Floyd Mayweather was the highest paid athlete in the world, and you won't believe why. Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the highest paid athlete in the world.
But with all that money came personal problems. Mayweather's father shared that before Floyd got rich, they rarely argued. But once the millions started rolling in, their relationship began to fall apart. Floyd became obsessed with spending, cars, properties, and over-the-top luxuries. His father said the change in priorities caused a real strain between them, and that money has a way of changing people.
I've never had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. You know, HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is or it ain't. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people it ain't about me training or anything like that. People's getting money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if sometimes when people get money.
As Floyd's fortune grew, so did his ego. That shift in attitude cost him several close relationships, even with longtime friends. Mike Tyson didn't hold back. He called out Mayweather's arrogance, saying there's nothing impressive about it. Tyson made it clear that with all that money, Floyd needed to stay grounded and keep his ego under control.
How do you feel about Floyd, though?
Huh?
How do you feel about
Awesome
Floyd?
fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
I didn't see that.
Floyd's tight friendship with rapper 50 Cent used to be one of the most talked about connections in entertainment. But as Floyd's wealth grew, their bond started to fall apart. According to 50 Cent, Floyd's obsession with money became too much to handle. At one point, Floyd even told him he never needed his help, despite everything they'd been through together. Their falling out was seen as a result of Floyd putting money above everything, even the people who stood by him from the start.
I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you had already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
Right.
And then when
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, what a prize fighter fight for? And I'm like, and he said, the prize. So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. He doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Floyd also lost one of his top proteges, boxer Tank Davis, who felt used and underappreciated. Tank shared that Floyd kept him in a position where he always had to depend on him. Despite the money Tank brought in from his fights, he claimed Floyd didn't pay him fairly. That frustration eventually pushed Tank to cut all ties and walk away from their partnership.
Or I'm gonna be back asking you for money. Nah, why would I do that? I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever, whenever you need some money. You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up that, like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And, like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But, like, to somebody to understand, you understand, like, what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, because if I gotta put you in a position that they always need me, you always gotta, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm a, nigga, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot. And I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that, $48 of plot power. I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really, just put me in a position to be able to, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I mean, like, I I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that he said, okay, cool, I see what's going on. That's when you start taking over my career.
Tank also pointed out that Floyd struggled with anyone outshining him. He grew jealous of fighters who earned more or were seen as greater than him, even going as far as to claim that Muhammad Ali wasn't better than him.
I'm gonna say this. Okay. Out of all these guys in the history of boxing,
yes,
I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yes.
And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You're here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean, we just telling the truth. And I love Ali, of course.
Mayweather's arrogance didn't just affect his personal relationships. It spilled over into how he presented himself to the world. His constant flaunting of wealth, combined with his controversial statements, made him one of the most disliked boxers ever. His claim to be the greatest, no matter what others had accomplished, only made the public's negative view of him stronger.
In all of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't, okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Bert Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back up and won the fight.
Floyd's bold attitude and flashy display of wealth made him the most disliked boxer in history. His refusal to engage with the drama around him only fueled the hatred. He often made it clear that he didn't care about public opinion and would keep fighting, whether in exhibitions or traditional matches. This indifference to criticism only made him more divisive, with fans and commentators questioning what really drove him.
Like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And
My
like,
most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million. One watch.
and so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah, he creates envy, and you want him to lose, but he's not gonna.
After retiring from professional boxing, Floyd shifted to exhibition fights, but these events were met with heavy criticism. Many felt he was damaging his legacy by facing lesser-known opponents just for the payday.
Floyd, what does it mean for you to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what, this is it, I don't care what all you guys say, I'm out of here, I'm done?
I mean, I think I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. Speak my mind. Speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. But I want to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside that's going to help me take things to the next level, and that's what I did.
His exhibition fights became notorious for being money grabs. Critics argued that they were more about Floyd securing the biggest share of the earnings than offering fans competitive or meaningful matchups.
Sure. But you know what it is? I think obviously with Floyd, he gets the biggest percentage of the purse, isn't it?
Yeah, but he can still get the biggest percentage of the purse.
Yeah, but Ricky Hatton's gonna want more. He'll want more. He'll want more.
He'll want more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they fought in their heyday, Floyd got more.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know what I'm saying?
No, but Floyd wants like 95% more. 90% more. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
He's like 95-5. Yeah, that's how he likes to do it, isn't it? Because I'm not going to lie, if Floyd fought Ricky, both of them now, catch weight 154, O2 Arena.
It will sell out. It will sell out. Sell out. Will sell out.
Sell out.
Floyd's reputation took another hit with allegations that he didn't pay his opponents the amounts they were promised. Boxers like Deji and Logan Paul claim they never received the full pay for their exhibition fights with him.
I see a lot of people, people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you
a boxing thing?
You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy
right
going,
now,
I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters. They don't have to wait for. That was the big problem in the past, is that these boxing promoters would come in and they wouldn't make as much money as they thought they were going to do, so they would stiff the fighters and not pay the guys. And that's why these regulations are in place in these different states.
Over time, Floyd's career and the hype around him started to fade. Once a dominant force in boxing, his actions outside the ring began to overshadow his achievements inside it. His involvement in a $42 million scam, along with growing evidence that his financial dealings weren't as clean as they seemed, further damaged his reputation. Reports even surfaced that Floyd was trapped in Dubai due to unpaid debts, showing just how serious his financial troubles had become.
Some drama going on about Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai. However, that man was at Game 5 of the Clippers game. He's claiming that he is stuck in Dubai because there's debts that he has to pay off and they're not letting him leave. And we're sitting at Game 5 and I look over and I'm like, dude, that's Floyd Mayweather. Royce takes a video of Floyd Mayweather at the Clippers game, posts it on his TikTok. It goes viral. He posts 2 videos, both go viral. And the comments, nobody is believing him. They're like, that's not really Floyd. That's a clone. Floyd's stuck in Dubai. And the crazy thing was, usually when you're at these games, they'll have like, oh, special guest, celebrity of the night. They didn't show Floyd on the thing, but we have it on camera. But go check out Royce's videos if you guys want to see.
Mayweather worked tirelessly to build his image as the highest paid athlete in the world. He often bragged about his earnings, insisting that no one in the history of sports could match his financial success.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous out of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you. Blasphemous. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon? Was it too soon?
Chael Sonnen, a well-known fighter, made it clear that Floyd's decision to keep fighting exhibition bouts was all about money. Sonnen argued that with billions in earnings, Floyd had no reason to keep fighting just for the paycheck. This was seen as a betrayal of his legacy, as Sonnen believed Floyd was trading his honor and reputation for personal gain.
I know that Floyd is still getting in there as recently as this weekend because he needed the money.
You think Floyd's fighting because he needs the money?
Yeah.
Really? Why? You think he blew through all of his money? Get the fuck.
Well, he blew through a lot of it, but I'm sharing for you, it wasn't what you thought it was.
He blew through it and wasn't making as much as
they're claiming he was doing $100 million a fight, and I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about $100 million. There's a very wow.
Floyd had this long career. I could imagine him making more than $100 million.
I understand that. Floyd was not Muhammad Ali, and Floyd wasn't Mike Tyson. I got it. I know people think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you, he didn't, and no boxer has. No boxer's ever made 130 million in one night. This is silly. Floyd Mayweather has closed down a mall. He has rented out the entire mall and he spent $15 million. The proof that this happened is Floyd in a mall and Floyd with a bag of cash that probably had about 100 grand in it. He says, man, I'm a VIP, I'm a VP, I'm a VVVVIP. Do you want to know why he was whispering, guys? He was whispering so that he didn't disrupt the employees and fellow shoppers at the mall. It's okay. This is a gimmick. Floyd did everything that Floyd is supposed to do. It's strange that a 50-year-old man would continue to do what he did when he was 28 years old. That's strange.
Eddie Hearn, a prominent boxing promoter, criticized Floyd's approach to the sport, calling his fights NAF and suggesting that Floyd was more focused on pay-per-view earnings than on satisfying the fans. Hearn believed that Floyd's transition from a competitive boxer to a money-driven entertainer had damaged the integrity of his career.
Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000. Something like that, if that.
I believe so.
We've had some bad ones. But this is, I've seen a map, someone posted a map yesterday. I mean, I don't know anyone that even knows Floyd Mayweather is fighting on Saturday. Who is putting the money up for these events? Like, I think that the Mayweather fights are so f***ing naff, to be honest with you. But I don't actually mind, like, at least Aaron Chalmers will go out and he can box and he'll have a go and like whatever. But literally no one knows that is even happening. Someone has hired out the O2 Arena thinking they're going to sell out the O2 Arena with Floyd Mayweather and they are going to do a couple of 100,000 buys on pay-per-view. It's either going to get cancelled before Saturday or someone is going to do their absolute conkers or people are not going to get paid.
After years of lavish spending and collecting luxurious assets, Floyd Mayweather's wealth has finally dwindled, leaving him broke. His career, long in the past, has faded, and his efforts to stay relevant through exhibition fights have faced harsh criticism. Things took a turn for the worse when he was linked to a $42 million scam, which sparked widespread backlash. Business Insider exposed his claims about owning 62 buildings as false, revealing he only owned part of them. This revelation fueled more anger, with Floyd's constant boasting about his wealth now leading to accusations of dishonesty and deceit.
There is a little bit of embellishing that you kind of have to do in order to get your foot in the door with some of these folks, because they otherwise ain't gonna deal with you. So it does require a little bit of fake it till you make it. I'm not saying that that report is true. I'm just simply saying that if there were some validity to that, that's not really the end of the world. He ain't lying about having ownership. He just may have embellished the truth about having no partners. Also, you got people calling him broke, which is crazy to me, man.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for the next one.